Donald Trump has an absolute exquisite sense of political theater in the best sense. Not false theater, not lies, but political theater. The ability to read a situation. I want to tell you a story which set the precedent years ago. On September the 9th of 1965, there was a Category 4 hurricane, Hurricane Betsy. And it hit New Orleans, killing more than 75 people. It flooded much of the city, and city was plunged into darkness and chaos, as you can imagine. Within 24 hours, Lyndon Johnson was in New Orleans, surveying the damage, and setting the precedent for the president as to what to do in times of incredible crisis. Hurricane Betsy was awful. It came through the Caribbean for several days. It changed directions. As you know, hurricanes are like tops. They spin, and it circled around Florida and then went right for New Orleans and hit the city late on the 9th of September. White House records show that at 2:36 p.m. the next afternoon, Johnson was doing his regular business at the White House, and Senator Russell Long from Louisiana and Representative Congressman Hale Boggs and Ed Willis called the president and reported to him the devastation that they saw. And Senator Long told Johnson that Hurricane Betsy picked up, this is a quote, Lake Pontchartrain and put it inside New Orleans and Jefferson Parish. He said, quote, "My people, oh, they're in tough shape." Now, Senator Long had really urged Lyndon Johnson to go to New Orleans, but the president was a little bit reluctant at first. He said, look, he's had a hell of a couple of days ahead of him. He said, long than, and plus he said, if I'm going to be there, the commotion. Senator Long then appealed to Johnson's political savvy, and this is critical. He reminded him that he had lost Louisiana in 1964. And with a well-timed trip to New Orleans, they couldn't beat you in 68 if Eisenhower ran. Johnson didn't need any coaxing. He realized the electoral advantage that such a visit would make to show care. But he also had a sense of this social responsibility. Say what you want about LBJ. Don't forget, he championed civil rights. He signed the Civil Rights Act of 64. And a month earlier, the Voting Rights Act of 65, he ushered in Medicare and Medicaid, campaigned for urban renewal, touted the Great Society, brought electricity to the hill country, to where he was. I mean, but Vietnam, of course, would be his downfall. But anyway, over 2 hours after that phone call, President Johnson called Senator Long, Congressman Boggs, Willis, and a few others, and they were boarding a Marine helicopter outside the White House. They made the ride to Andrews Air Force Base, got on Air Force One, and jetted to New Orleans. Johnson wasted no time showing the public and future presidents how to act during times of disaster like this. Air Force One was circling New Orleans, and Johnson and his entourage, you can see pictures, were looking out, gazing at the devastation. When they landed, President Johnson immediately made a speech that emphasizes compassion. But here's where I love him the most. This is what I think is this is critical. When night fell and President Johnson toured the city, at one point he came upon a shelter of some sort where a large number of black folks had taken refuge. The people there apparently didn't know who this guy was who was coming in. I think they had sandbags. He grabbed a flashlight. Now listen to this. Illuminated his face and announced into a megaphone, quote, "My name is Lyndon Baines Johnson. I am your president. I am here to make sure you have the help you need." And that was it. That was it. And what Trump did today in Valdosta was reminiscent of that. What he did, how he acted, the presidential countenance, the presidential mien, the affect, the role, the genius. He doesn't even realize how good he is. He doesn't even recognize how good he is. This is why he's going to win. Because in the last, by the way, Biden's nowhere to be found. Kamala's nowhere to be found. They couldn't care less about this. Because they don't have it. There's this thing that Trump has. It's called it. He has it. It's this incredible ability to know exactly what to say. It's this incredible ability he has to know what to say and how to say it. In the upcoming, 36 days or so? 35 days? People are going to be making their choice. I know this may sound crazy to you because you and I are involved in everything. But a lot of people haven't really made up their mind yet. They haven't made up their mind. And what they do is they will look and they will see, and something will... Trump is there with water and with help and with Franklin Graham, and he's there. He's doing something. Meanwhile, if I didn't know better, I would swear Biden is deliberately not doing anything to throw it because he probably hates Kamala more than anybody else because they took this from him. They stole the presidency from him. What we're seeing right now is a president. We're seeing a leader. And people see this and they recognize it. And that, my friend, that is why Trump is going to win. That's why Trump is going to win. Believe me when I tell you this. Believe me and listen to me like this is it. All the polls, all of the up and down in the battleground. Okay, fine. She never had it. And she never wanted this. And the voters know this. They can tell. This is absolute history. This is history repeating itself. This man's going to win. He's going to win. And I can't wait. Comment as you see fit.